The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome. Tonight we are celebrating and doing a deep dive peace prayer on International Peace Day. My name's Terry Carter, and I'm the founder of SOMAfest, which is a week of workshops and performances focusing on and fostering conscious embodiment in practice, performance, and daily life. I have the pleasure of being asked by Kennedy Braden, who is an International Peace Ambassador, to host this deep dive peace prayer this evening. And we are lucky enough to have Kennedy on this webinar, on this deep dive tonight. Hello, Kennedy. Well, let's see. Kennedy, can you hear me? I heard her just a couple of minutes ago. So we're going to see if we can get Kennedy back on the line. And I'm going to step right over to the television for a second. And I don't see her. Maybe she'll call back in. All right, we'll just keep going. And can you see if the volume is working as we're doing this? Maybe we don't have volume. Yes, we have volume. All right. We just don't have Kennedy. What a shame. So, let's see. People are getting to see my back in the camera. And we'll just hope that Kennedy is able to call back in. All right. So, again, welcome. And it seems like we have Kennedy perhaps having a telephone technical difficulty, and hopefully she'll be able to call back in. This evening, we're really considering what it means to be peace. And what I'd like to say is that peace is something that I have to experience. It's something that I have to feel. It's not something outside of me. As Emily Conrad said when she hosted this deep dive peace prayer in 2012. One of the things that we look at in somatic movement and in continuum movement is what it feels like to have a body. And that feeling state is a sensorial experience. It's a matter of experiencing myself through my breath, through my tissues, and connecting into the earth as a being, one of the creatures on the planet, an extension of a planetary process. When we look outside of ourselves, for a reference of being, it's going to have an essence of outside authority. It won't really relate to my own personal take on being here, on being in connection with others, in being in connection with the planet and the cosmos at large. In Continuum, we particularly look at the experience of breath and how it passes through our whole system, including our fluids. It's about oxygen, it's about the breath of life, but primarily it's about being able to take in, receive, and also send out the essence of that connection with myself and other. One of the wonderful things about somatic movement and continuum movement is that this gift of learning, perhaps relearning, to sense into myself and build that sensory system, muscle, so to speak. It's going to allow me to really know if my experience is a first order experience or if it's something I'm being fed from the outside world. I can only have a true is a funny word, but I'll use it. I can only have an experience in the now if I am checking in with my sensation. And if I can settle into that and settle into the earth and find my comfort and find my breath as a resource, I'm then going to be able to not only feel myself, I'm also going to be able to feel other with more ease, more comfort, and my perhaps social order automatic response or reaction to read things with fear is going to, that dial is going to turn down. And therefore I'm going to be able to experience and receive others and share myself with others from a much more, a place of pleasure, a place of eros. And it's this breath and this place of eros in terms of being a body, not having a body, being a body-mind that is in connection. I will have much less inclination to perhaps wish ill will or even receive ill will. It's a true perhaps a higher echelon of being able to be with myself, be with others, and be with the planet, including all the species, with love, with kindness, and perhaps pleasure. So I'm really wishing that we could have Kennedy Braden find her way to reach us by technology. We did have Kennedy on the line with us just before we turned on the webinar. And Kennedy is a person who travels the world and has done quite a bit to work with various cultures, various cities, to actually foster a consciousness of peace. Tonight she was going to talk about cellular consciousness and how that plays a part in our connection with not only the earth and others, but because our cellular life force, the essence of our cells, the essence of cells being part of a universal field. We are truly one with all. And when we can feel into ourselves with sensation, and in continuum we use sound and breath and subtle movement, it brings us closer to having a cellular, vibratory fullness, richness, and even a perhaps soluble, I was going to say solubility, but that's not coming out as easily as I would like. When our cells can exchange, just like our breath, when they can be wet and pliable, much like an octopus in the ocean, perhaps a jellyfish, where there's an exchange with the outer world and the inner world of that sea creature, there's much less of a chance of there being a delineation of separateness. So what we're going to do now is experience a continuum movement dive. And it'll be very simple. We'll be calling in the sound that we call the sh sound, which sounds like this, just as one might imagine. And as this breath and this vibration of the sound begins to fill my system, I immediately feel a rest and settle, comfort, more of a willingness to share myself. The movement sequence that we're going to do with this sh sound is quite simple. We'll be taking the palms of our hands and very gently, very slowly, drawing them down the front of our body and stopping and spending a little time in 3 places. The first place will be our third eye, is what some call this area, the pituitary. It's also called the upper Dantian in Taoist practices. And through the touch, through the sound, through noticing, putting our mind into our sensation, into our body, we'll be helping to generate more openness in our tissues. And also, as we're drawing our hands down our body, what we're actually doing is drawing our hands, and you can touch your body. I'm not doing it in the moment, but when I lie down and demonstrate, I will be. I'm actually drawing my hands down what is called the embryonic midline, or the, perhaps in an adult, the vertical axis. And I'll stop again at my heart center. And I'll spend some time there. And from there, I'll continue down below my rib cage, and just below my navel, I'll pause again and spend a little bit of time in my lower dantian, which they say is the center for physical chi. There's no other kind of chi. It's the energetic, the prana center. And perhaps you can continue down just a little bit so that your hands end on your pubic bone. From here, we'll go into some open movement and possibly wave movement, wave motion. And this very simple movement that can arise because of the sound and the resting into the ground, into the floor, will create what we like to call in continuum wave motion that streams from various fluids, the fluid system of my body, and it enters, that wave motion enters into the tissues of the body. So the movement that I find is actually going to be organic, what we might say fractal, or not coming from places that my conventional brain might tell my body to do. Instead, I'm really going to listen. I'm going to listen to myself, listen to the cues and signals that my body is reporting to my brain through sensation. And this sensation and following the cues and signals of the waves is actually a prayer of peace. As I settle into myself, settle down into the earth, connecting with the earth, connecting into sensation, and really believing, really allowing my curiosity to follow the intelligence of my body. So now I'm going to lie on the floor and demonstrate. And here we are at Highways Performance Space in Santa Monica. This is our first event at the start of the week of SOMAfest. And there are some other folks with us here ready to do the dive. I'll demonstrate, and at some point you might have a chance to actually see others also doing the dive with us. So thank you. First, I wonder if people are able to hear me. You can see if the speaker is moving as I'm Okay, great. So, before I begin the movement sequence with the shuz, I'm going to take a moment and continue in what we call open attention. Very simple, where I'm checking in with myself before I begin. I'm definitely taking time to notice my breath. how I'm resting into the ground, into the floor. And any other sensations that I might notice. I'm really arriving, taking time to notice how I feel. All the movements as I begin, everything will be very slow. So that I can feel myself and allow my system to respond. Something you might notice as I'm drawing my hands down my center line, down my embryonic midline, is my elbows. Is that my elbows might have a little bit of a flourishing. Calling in our sea creature friends with fins and our flying friends with wings. as I finish one round of doing the shoes down my midline, I'll settle back down into open attention, resting and settling into the earth. And then I could begin again with a second round and see what develops. See what changes, what shifts in my system. How much more of myself am I aware of? How much more comfort have I found? And how much more am I able to receive and share of myself with the world, with the field, the universal field? What I would say about how I feel myself right now, twofold perhaps. Let's say how I feel through sensation. What do I feel in my body? I definitely feel more ease. I definitely feel more empathic, meaning because I can sense myself more, I have more of myself available to sense the world around me. That means I can have empathy, literally, because empathy is about being able to sense. And if I cannot sense myself, I can certainly not sense other without a lot of misinformation getting in the way. When I have myself through calm, through breath, with the help of vibration, and that wave of fluid, the wave that resonates throughout the world, throughout the universe, that is a prayer of peace. That is being peace with not just my mind, but my mind and my body, all of me. So I'm going to take the camera and turn it over here. And do you know what I'm going to do is invite a few of the people who are here with us today, since we didn't get to speak with Kennedy. What we'll do is, thanks, Nicole. What we'll do is we'll speak to a couple of people who are here and just did the dive with us. So we are very lucky and blessed to have several of our teachers at the SOMAfest this year here, and we'll see if they have some comments about what it felt like to do the shuz and how that might relate for them to being peace, feeling themselves as an extension of a planetary process. So perhaps I'll ask Karen Howman, one of our teachers, continuum teachers, and also Liquid Body. Karen, would you care to share? Do you want to come and sit in the chair? It might be easier.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, hello, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here. I'm coming from New York today, and it was particularly nice to begin with this, the way that it's possible to be together with, in this way, a way so simple and yet so deep, feels very special and something, feels like something that I don't often get to experience socially or in other ways. So I'm particularly happy to be together in person here in Santa Monica, and also to be connected globally. So I think it's so very important, and the resonance that's possible non-locally as well as locally, I think is super, super fascinating, and I've been playing with that quite a bit, and it's luxurious to have this opportunity to be together with, in a sense, what feels like a very, very expansive, almost, in a sense, infinite field of connection. So, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashley Johnson, and I'm here at SOMAfest. I've come all the way from Canada to be here, and continuum is a really large part of my own personal practice, but to be able to come back into the space and be with the other people in SOMAfest today is such an experience of relief. I think being able to come into a community and share breath and movement and sound, I'm always amazed at how quickly I'm able to rest and settle and just totally calm down. And when I come back, the world seems lighter. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Emma Destry, and like Ashley said, it just feels so good to be here in community and share that space and that depth of experience. And compared to before the dive, I feel so much calmer, and I feel, as I nourish my ability to sense myself, I feel at peace. And I'm referencing from myself and not from the external world. And that referencing from myself allows me to walk through the world with a sense of peace and foster it.
So thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us. And I might see if I can get the mute to turn off, meaning we might be able to hear from one or two people listening from around the world. I'm not sure where people might be from, but it would be great to hear how breath and sound and movement and feeling yourself, really sensing the wave of pleasure is a peace prayer for you. I have to go over here and do that. I'll be right here. Hello, is this Kennedy Braden?
Yes, hi everyone. That was a beautiful dive. I've been on the whole time, but I could not unmute my line myself, but I'm happy to be here with you.
Welcome, welcome. So this is Kennedy Braden, the International Peace Ambassador, who was to join us at the beginning, and we're really, really happy to have you here now. So please share with us, Kennedy.
Well, first I wanted to say, Terry, I met you when Emily and I were putting together the very first Peace Prayer Dive, and you were a part of that then, and you are such a beautiful force in the continuum world and in the world of peace. So I just love being here with all of you right now. And my experience in doing the dive just now, I would describe it as an unfolding and folding all at once, layer by layer and openness by openness of golden liquid light. So I thank you for that opportunity to go deep inside to then fall into the universe itself. And that is how I see our part and our potential in life in every second and every moment. And in terms of peace, you're exactly right. It is an experience that is individual, and yet the expression is universal. And so we will all feel that in a certain way. I think it can be quiet and still, passionate and fiery, compassionate and inward, all of these different things. But one thing that I know peace is a vibrational shift. It is a frequency band or a certain band of dimensionality that we begin to just dive into more and more, particularly in the work that you all do with the body. And we do embody peace. In fact, it is within us already. It's something that is embedded within us, but it's also embedded in the divine matrix, in the field itself. So we are already living and being lived by, and moving and being moved by peace. It's not something that we have to really develop, and I think that a lot of times we imagine that. But as we begin to fall into connection, I think we fall into peace, and we fall into that fractal wave that is in the cosmos, but also in every cell of our body. That we have that felt sense of connection when we allow that spaciousness to occur, and we dive and sense into what is already existent, embodied in the very fabric of ourselves and the cosmos. So this is how I think of peace. It is a cosmology, biology, resonant conversation that is going on all the time. The cells are reflecting the stars. It is that communion of life that you all are so used to and that we live out every day. Also, I think of connection and peace as a non-static state. It is always moving through us, with us, as us. And so as we move with the cosmos, whether in unison, but whether it's a spontaneous or envisioned movement, it is ultimately a cellular resonance that is a carrier wave across our internal and external universe. And so we just, I believe, experience this fractal wave in this deep peace prayer dive. And that has changed the matrix instantaneously as we have done this and as it courses through our body. So we find peace, we find connection in every breath, in every oscillation, radiating peace from this day forward, creating a new universe with every breath. Sorry about that, it's my phone. And so, so we come to the pulse of peace. And this pulse is an embodied experience. As you feel it now, mostly aware of it in this moment, but also as it courses through, regardless of our attention. So I wanted to read, if I could, what I call a poem experience called Pulsation. And if you will just allow this to be present in whatever way, or to be moving or moving you in whatever way. Breathe in a wave of peace. The mind to be peace. The body to be peace. The spirit to express peace. The soul as peace. Deep-hearted peace. Each beat from the heart to the heart of each cell, to tiny atoms and protons, pulsing, spinning, singing waves of peace, undulating through our internal, infinite spaciousness, fully connected cells to stars, embedded in the eternal, luminous space of peace, embodying this pulse of peace.
Well, thank you, Kennedy. That was amazing. Did you write that yourself?
I always say it comes through me. I can't take credit for it. But yes, I mean, it's amazing, Terry, what you just did with the group. What everyone had a felt sense of is this pulse of peace that is always, always there.
I loved it how you said that we fall into peace. And for me, that's such an important concept, but even more so the experience of it, because that connection, we are on the earth. You know, a lot of practices, a lot of religions, a lot of theology might say we need to rise up out of our bodies. Our bodies perhaps don't matter much. But I really like to follow the somatic movement tenet, or it's really even a Taoist, ancient, thousands of years old tenet that really, when we can connect into the earth, connect into ourselves, and connect into the field, that is about being. And being, as you said, is about peace. So falling into peace feels really true to me. Tonight I seem to be using the word true. I never use that word, but it must have something to do with peace for me tonight. So yes.
Yes, beautiful. as with probably almost, well, I think now we are in a different fractal in our experience on the earth, and the invisible is coming now to be present. And so it is interesting, true and truth, we're finding the other side of the double Taurus, if you will, becoming more apparent. And so that's how we can, I believe, fall into what is already there,
Yes.
rather than always being told that we have to constantly find it, seek it, search for it, when in fact we embody the universe.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really would love to thank you for inviting us to be a part of this Summer of Peace project, peace enlivenment. And what you're doing on the planet is so rich and vital, Kennedy. Thank you for letting us be a part of it.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me in to be a part of all of this. It's it's an essential part of what we're all doing on the planet together. I like to say we hold hands and we walk together in equanimity.
Well, I do believe we've reached the hour, although we did get a little bit of a late start due to technical things, which tends to happen. And I feel much pleasure, and with pleasure comes peace. With arrows comes peace. So thank you, Kennedy, and thank you everyone here in the space, and everyone who has listened in and viewed via the web or by telephone. And we are sharing and receiving and sending waves of peace. Thank you. Thank you, Kennedy.
Oh, thank everyone. Peace wave.
Peace wave. Good night now.
Bye.
Bye.